Hello, my dear friends. You are on the Leeward channel where we go through major headlines that others may have failed to cover. And we're going to obviously also go through some funny news as well. Now, the first piece of news will be about Harry Belafonte. Uh, he was a really successful actor. That guy could sing, civil rights activist, he's a poet, so many things. He's been featured in so many documentaries. He is definitely a really famous person. And after that, we're going to talk about the Chinese defense minister's upcoming visit to India for the SEO meeting. We'll also talk about uh, Joe Biden announcing that he's going to run for president in 2024. And then Lavrov, Sergey Lavrov, who is the foreign minister of Russia, saying that they're going to protect the whole lot of Russian speakers or people who identify as Russians living in Ukraine. And then afterwards, we're going to go through some funny news here and there, but let's start off here with Harry Belafonte. So this is the Jacobin, and what they're talking about here is the passing of Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte, who died earlier today at age 96, was well known for his groundbreaking music career and civil rights activism. But in his early years, he appeared poised to become a major film star. We'll revisit two of his forgotten early classics. The first time I ever heard of Harry Belafonte actually was a documentary that was about the war between Angola and apartheid South Africa. And he was one of the people who were commenting on there. And he looked very favorably on Fidel Castro. But before that, even before I knew his name, I'd seen a video of him. So this was like way back in the day during segregation, and he had appeared with this white lady from the UK, and they were performing live in front of a national audience. Right before the song ended, though, that lady went ahead and gave him a hug. And boy, that was traumatizing, especially to the south of the US. So all the TVs went off. You know how back in the day the TVs will have like a stream of colors, usually because at that time the TVs were black and white. So you'd have, different versions of gray. But anyway, they cut off, and there were riots out in the south. So I didn't remember who his name was at the time. I just knew there was a performer who caused a lot of problems back in the day. So 96, he did live a long life, which is a good thing. And man, we just can hope to live as long, and hopefully we'll be healthy to do so. But anyways, rest in peace, Harry Belafonte. Oh yeah, and then there was some conspiracy theories that were claiming that he's the actual Obama's father because they were friends with Obama's mother. So yeah, interesting character. Anyways, let's move on here to the Chinese defense minister. Now, this is from Hindustan Times. Okay, Hindustan Times. I am definitely not removing my ad blocker because you guys are gonna fill my computer with stuff. But anyways, so this here is a piece of news that I'm talking about. So this is the newly appointed Li Shangfu. One of the reasons why he's known in the West is because before he was defense minister, the US had put him on the sanctions list for countries that are aiding Russia. So Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu is set to visit India for the defense ministers meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO. For those who don't know, the SCO is an organization that mainly features the Chinese, the Russians, the Indians, and Pakistanis as well, and a couple of other countries. And it's a very interesting organization. You just go to Wikipedia, read it up, and you see more about it. So, but it's one of the few remaining platforms where Indians and Chinese can actually meet and have a dialogue. And as we already know, and for those who don't know, most of these countries whenever they meet and then they come out in public and announce that they met for this or other reason. In reality, that's just the cover that they decide to put out there. In reality, back in behind the closed doors, they talk about almost everything else but what they announced they talked about, right? So every time you ever hear like Obama saying, when he met the Chinese president, he said, "Oh, we talked about human rights." No, they did not talk about human rights. I mean, how do you think that conversation would go? Stop abusing people. No, you stop abusing people. Come on. So this is a good development. I'm glad that they are meeting. In all honesty, their differences could be resolved. And the reason why I know that the Chinese and the Indians can resolve their differences is mainly because, remember, the Russians had a border situation with the Chinese that actually ended up in, military confrontation. But when Putin uh, came to power, he had a meeting. I can't remember who the president of the leader of China at the time was, may have been Hu Jintao. And they literally resolved all their border issues, which took a lot of people by surprise. So the Chinese and the Indians can do it, but I do think it's more than just pieces of land. I think both countries would have to prove to the other that they can be relied upon, and they will not stab each other in the back in future. Obviously, this is a complicated situation. I mean, these are very huge countries. These are countries that exert uh, quite a degree of influence in the world. And so it's a little bit complicated. But if all the sides were willing, they could actually do it. And I believe this may be a step towards that direction. And it's one of the reasons why I appreciate that the SCO actually exists as an organization to give these guys a platform where they can actually meet and talk. But anyways, I'll be following this story. Remember to like and subscribe and share so that you can get updates for interesting stories like this and more. Now, this may not sound like an interesting story to a lot of people, but this actually is a big deal. It's actually a very big deal. It's more important than some of the things we are seeing. Oh, Elon Musk is, I don't know, disallowing blue check marks. That makes headlines, but it's not as important. This right here is very important, and it actually directly affects you wherever you are in the world. Anyways, let's move to the next one here. So Biden versus Trump. This is BBC News. I like BBC sometimes because I can find the headlines, to make videos. But in all honesty, they give too much opinion, and the articles just end up sucking. And you'll see here. So Biden versus Trump, the sequel few Americans want to see. So sequels are really a good thing as the original. Da, 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 da. Oh my God. You see, that's nonsense. That doesn't even give us anything. So Joe Biden has now confirmed he signed up to star for the Democrats, while Donald Trump remains the clear frontrunner for the Republican nomination. It is a story we have seen before. Only a few people seem eager to watch again. A recent poll found that only 5% of Americans want both Biden and former President Trump to run again, and that it neither want neither to run. That makes sense. So first of all, obviously Joe Biden would run again, and I knew he was gonna run again. And here's the reason: an incumbent always has a very clear advantage, right? If you're already there, it's easier for you to fight while you're still seated there. In most cases, sometimes if you screw up big time, then you may have a harder time, and they may decide to replace you. So I knew he was gonna run. Now, the Democrats seem to be convinced that he can beat Trump, which is true because if you beat him once, you can beat him again. But they're wholly banking on that. And one of the ways they seem to be trying to work that out is with these court cases. So they want to weaken him because the thing about a president who who always works to appear strong, which Trump does, one of the things they're easily susceptible to is embarrassment. If you come out there and tell people you're a strong leader and then you keep on getting embarrassed, it really cuts down your base. I'm not saying that those people will switch to Joe Biden. I'm just saying that people may not be enthusiastic to go out there and start either voting, they will not strongly and vocally support you like that. So that I think that's what they're doing. Obviously, I could be wrong. This is just my opinion, it's speculation, but I could be wrong. On the other hand, I don't think they are confident that Joe Biden can beat DeSantis, but Trump can beat DeSantis on in the primaries. But they are looking at Trump as the devil they already know. So DeSantis can be a little bit unpredictable, and so they're banking on the fact that hey, if we beat Trump once, we can still use generally the same methods to beat him again. And the percentage they provide here, they're not that unusual, right? The interest in politics in the United States has kind of, let me put it differently. The enthusiasm for almost any leader is waning for very many reasons, including domestic issues, remnant issues from COVID, economic issues. So none of these guys is really going to excite anybody as much as we think he would. Trump a little bit more. But here's the thing though. People will come out and vote for Joe Biden overwhelmingly, not because he has anything new or anything good to provide. Nobody really is crazy about this guy, but they'll vote for the guy because they're afraid of Republicans and also afraid of Trump as well. So, but let's see, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be exciting, man. They're, 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 they're going to fight it out. And the other thing I forgot to mention is Joe Biden, for some reason, is actually very difficult um, to really beat like that. Like everything you throw at him doesn't seem to stick. Like the expectations from his voter base or for his supporters are so low that you can call the guy anything and it's not going to affect anything. This guy, Biden, he can run for president in a hospital bed and he may still win. That's how crazy tribalistic the US political voters have become, right? But I think if they put Kamala Harris to run against Trump, I think Kamala Harris would lose because that woman has zero charisma. I'm talking about zero charisma. There is nobody who thinks that that woman should run, at least who is in their right mind. So, anyways, let's move on to the next piece of news. This is gonna be exciting, and obviously, I'll bring you more updates. So, yeah, subscribe. Alrighty, so this is from TASS. Remember, this is a Russian government agency. TASS is. It's been for a long time. So just use them for information, but don't take everything they say for sure. But so Lavrov says Russia wants to protect anyone who keeps Russian culture in Ukraine. So the minister said, so we'll start here. One of Russia's goals is to protect people who espouse Russian culture from being subject to discrimination and eradication in Ukraine, Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov said on Tuesday. We want we What we want is for people who consider themselves connected to the Russian language, to Russian culture, and to the religion that they have always practiced at the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, that these people aren't subject to discrimination, persecution, the risk of eradication. There's a reason why I brought this up, because this sounds just like rhetoric, right? There's a reason why I brought this up. So this is a little bit more complicated than it actually sounds. From the beginning, the Russians said the reason why they launched the war in Ukraine was to save the Russian speaking people in the Donbass. And that has been their main focus. But saying protect anyone, he's kind of trying to push it out there that they'll protect anybody within any part of the territory of Ukraine. what he's trying to signal here, or he's trying to say, he's either trying to make people comfortable, or this is something they have started doing where they're trying to encourage Ukrainians to rise up. It could be almost anything. Trust me, games of this high level sometimes we can't get them unless we have full evidence or we have some leaked tape or audio, right? But what now he's saying right here, I believe, is that they may extend the war, or what they call in the special military operation, to various parts of Ukraine. That is serious. They may again be trying to scare the Ukrainians into negotiations, which is a possibility, or they may be sending a message to the Russian speaking people, or the people who consider themselves culturally Russian, who live in various parts of Ukraine, that they will come and help them. So, or it may be both. Good God, who even knows? It may be both. But this is interesting and something to pay attention to. Anyways, we're going to go to our next piece of news here. Now, those are the major news we want to talk about. I will do some other headlines here in a little bit, but for now, those are the major news. But let's get into the fun stuff. We started with Harry Belafonte dying, which is sad. Now, let's go to the fun stuff. Alrighty, let's see here. Calling all cows. Tall cows, short cows, young cows, old cows are needed 4/21/23 at 4 p.m. to attend the Guinness World Record for the largest same-name gathering. So, if I'm to understand this right, all the people named Kyle are being requested to come over here for Guinness Book of World Record. And oh yeah, and somebody here kind of showed that they made a mistake, said April, but in the video they said May. But anyways, let's listen to this video. Hopefully you guys will hear it. Hopefully I have my settings right. So let's see.
Hey y'all, I'm Kyle Park and I'm here calling all Kyles to come to Kyle, Texas, where we'll attempt to break the world record of the most Kyles gathered ever.
I love America, man. This guy just sat down and said, you know what? My name is Kyle, and I'm going to call other Kyles to come to the city of Kyle. And yeah, that's actually, so there's a city in, I think in Texas called Kyle, Texas. I don't know. Uh, the city of Kyle. Yeah, there's a city called Kyle, Texas. And they're calling all Kyles to come and congregate there. I have seen another one done in Lincoln, Nebraska, which was, oh God, it's the meaning of some popular people's name, like Mike or something. But I don't know what they're gonna do there. The last one they had like a massive like pillow fight. The one I said about the one in Lincoln, they had like a massive pillow fight where they were beating each other with pillows. It is, oh my God, if you guys can watch this, you will love it. It's they're usually very funny. I'm saying usually, I don't know of one of them, but the one I saw was really funny. And and that's the thing. I mean, we have very hard times that have come down on us within the past few years. So when I see people sit back and do something like this, that's a very good thing. Let's celebrate humanity, you know. Let's make people laugh. Let's do something interesting. It doesn't have to be all serious all the time. But anyways, looking forward to this. I'll put a reminder, and then when they do actually have it, I will actually see how I can have it on my channel for you guys to watch. We can actually do a live event. Why not? We can do a live event. But anyways, good luck to all the Kyles, and I hope this will be an interesting and memorable event. Alrighty, so lastly here, this is one of those weird things. You don't have to report it, but it's funny. So, teacher nabbed for filming porn in class, starting a new chapter. Starting a new chapter. So, Saucy Samantha Pierre, who was forced to quit her teaching job after porn videos filmed in her classroom became public, says she's turning over a new leaf. Oh God. 25-year-old ex-educator who used the nom de porn Chloe Carter and taught science at the Vanderbilt Middle School in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, is now ditching her OnlyFans page. She wrote on Fantasil, I don't know what these things are, but hey all, wanted to let you know I'm starting a new chapter in my life and will be closing this subscription page soon. Thank you for the fun times. Hey, she may be trying to go back into teaching, you know. Hey, you listen, I've seen cops do some messed up stuff, get fired and then they just move to a different city and the whole thing just starts over again. But anyways, um, the scandal made bombshell headlines around the planet and sent the married peers spiraling. Only a handful of loyal fans helped her through her darkest hours, she said. I love the use of that word, darkest hour. It is so misused. It is so misused. If, oh, come on, really? Well, the issue obviously here, I mean, don't do that kind of stuff in a classroom. You can do it elsewhere, but I think she did it for, clout or whatever. But yeah, don't do that kind of stuff in school. And secondly, because there are people who like doing daring things, right? I'll keep on insisting and telling people just be careful because the laws change, right? So what today would have given you just a mere few $100 ticket or something, maybe a felony now. So yesterday it was okay, now it's not because we don't attend all the council meetings all these like old folks attend where they make up these rules. And you may think something is funny, you may be trying something for clout or whatever, and then you end up doing time that would mess up your whole life. So I tell people just be careful. You know, there was I think it was that gangster from the Prohibition days in the U.S. His name was Arnold Rothstein. He said, and I'm terribly paraphrasing here. He said that the beginning of a man's problem is his inability to sit down quietly at home. So, I mean, obviously, life would not be interesting if you just sat at home. But I've always loved that where he says that if you just stayed at home, nothing would have happened. The moment you get into that car and start driving somewhere, that's where most of the problems come from. But anyways, that was just to end these headlines here. Again, remember subscribe and like, and let's grow together. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day or a wonderful rest of your night, depending on where you are. And I will see you next time. Again, this is the Leeward channel. We are new. Support us, like and subscribe, and let's grow together. Thank you, and bye-bye.